So, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are here to talk about the one thing almost every organization wants, total visibility. So, you are like already using tools to optimize various sorts of network licenses or floating licenses. But today, we are expanding that scope. We are not confined within the realms of just network licensing. We are talking about the applications that don't have a license manager, the standalone, the node locked installs that usually slip through the cracks. As you can see on the screen, our goal is simple: uncovering shadow licensing. I'm going to show you how to apply the same rigorous capping and configuration rules you use for your network licenses to your standalone applications. So let's look at how we control the unmanaged. So before we jump into today's agenda, let me take a quick moment to introduce who we are and what we do at OpenLM. It's one of the leading providers of the software license management solutions. We are trusted globally, working with Fortune 500 companies, and we have been doing this for over a decade. And speaking of industries, we're not tied to just one. Our platform is widely used in various sorts of industries like automotive, aerospace and defense, engineering, construction, energy utilities, name them, manufacturing, IT, telecommunication, even in education and research. So yeah, OpenLab has a place in their own ecosystem, and it's all about enabling organizations to do more with our high cost engineering and scientific software licenses. So without further ado, let's just deep into the content of the course. So here is our roadmap for the next few minutes. We aren't just going to look at the capabilities or understand how it works. We're also going to unlock a new level of financial precision coupled with the business insights which it provides. First, we will start with understanding OpenLM shadow license configuration. Like, of course, we are talking about shadow license, but we need to cover the fundamental why, right? Like, why are we doing this at all? It might not be needed. So we first need to address the root cause of why exactly do we need this in our organization. Secondly, we will dive deep into the key features and the functionalities, followed by the business insights which OpenLine provides, and to say the very least, the conclusion. So, okay, let's just move into the next part, the challenge. Most of us here are very comfortable managing floating licenses. Name the vendors, FlexNet, RLM, all the usual suspects. The world is familiar. But here's the real question. What about the software that doesn't talk to any license server at all? Like, you know, there are many softwares which doesn't have a license server. So what about that? Can't we monitor them? Think about it. Standalone PDF editors, a niche CAD viewer, or maybe even worse, software quietly installed by users without anyone's approval, which you don't even know of that anyone is using in your organization. That's what we call unmanaged software. And the problem is brutally simple. If you can't see it, you can't control it. This is exactly where shadow licensing comes in. OpenLM steps up and says, fine, if the application won't talk to a license manager, okay, let me take care of it. We will become the license manager for it. So, before shadow licensing can do its magic, there are a few essentials we need in place. Of course, we are trying to start an operation, but we don't know what are the prerequisites or what are the things that we need to keep in place before initiating that. So, first, the foundation, the OpenLM workstation agent. This is the magical tool that must be installed on all the end user machines. Why? The reason is simple. Because this is what gives us visibility. It monitors the application usage and enforces limits where needed. No agent, no insights at all. Next, we enable the process monitoring product with the OpenLM platform. This is what allows OpenLM to actually track and manage shadow license activity at the process level. At that granular process level, it gives us the details of what everything, every aspect of the things that is happening in your workstation. In simple terms, this is where unmanaged software finally becomes manageable. Now, moving to what's optional but highly recommended, the end user service and the agent connection. This gives users access to their personal dashboard, real time usage data, and notifications directly from their machines. Well, just to mention, it's not mandatory, but you know what? It dramatically improves transparency and user awareness. So let's just put these pieces together like you put the pieces of a puzzle. And shadow licensing doesn't just observe usage, it brings control, visibility, accountability to software that was previously invisible. You had no idea of what was going on with the softwares, who is using that in your organization. But now with OpenLM shared licensing, everything is in place, everything is visible to you. So let's just start by accessing the process manager. Well, it's very simple to begin with. Head over to the OpenLM platform website and use the global search view to have the products. Simply type process manager. You will see the process manager feature appear, identified by its distinct folder and list icon. Select it, and you are in. This is where we begin monitoring and managing application processes for shared licensing. Click, and welcome to your new command center. As you can see, this is the command center, the process manager interface. What you are seeing here is the main dashboard, access to the process manager. This is the processes tab. This is where everything comes together. At the center is the process inventory, a live list of all the applications currently being monitored, whether it's AutoCAD, whether it's ArcMap, or any other tool. If it's running, it shows up here. Now, this is where the action begins, the add process button. This is your entry point for bridging a new application under control that you're looking forward to monitor. And on the right hand side is the configuration panel. You can see specifically the schedule license tab, the main topic of today's discussion. This is where you define the capping rules, set release policies, and decide exactly how that application should behave. In short, this is where unmanaged software stops being invisible and starts playing by the rules. Now, this is one of the important aspects while we are looking forward to monitor a process, the identification step. This is very, very crucial because there's a simple rule here. You can't manage what you can't name. Say, for example, you are talking about a process, let's say, you know, an XYZ process, but you don't know its name. You have no idea about why it is getting displayed, why it is running, but still you want to monitor. But that's not possible. You have to understand what is its name, what is the identity of that process. To do this, we will go straight to the source why it's running. Windows Task Manager. This is where running applications reveal their true identity. What we are looking for is the exact executable name. Case sensitive is recommended because precision matters. For example, here we can see if we are looking forward to monitor Notepad, we can capture notepad.exe that is running in the task manager. For AutoCAD, it's acad.exe. Any applications, anything and everything that is running as executables in your task manager, you can monitor that. You can enforce capping with the help of OpenLM. Now, this small detail makes a big difference. Get the name right. OpenLM knows exactly what to monitor, what to control, and last but not the least, what to cap or who to cap. Now, this is the turning point, adding a new processes. Start by clicking Add Process. This is where an unmanaged application officially enters the system. In the input field, paste the exact process name you captured from Task Manager. But here's one thing you need to note. You should exclude the exe at the end. Let's talk about Notepad. Whenever you are copying notepad.exe, when you are pasting the process name, just exclude the exe and just write Notepad there. Precision matters here. This single entry determines whether OpenLM tracks the right application or misses it entirely. Once the process is added, shift your focus to the real control center, from where we will define the rules, from where we will start the operation of capping, the schedule licenses step. This is where rules are defined, limits are enforced, and unmanaged software finally becomes governed. So, this is the core of schedule licensing, the much awaited capping functionality. Let's start with the cap itself. By default, applications are allowed unlimited concurrent instances. The toggle is on and the value is set to -1. In other words, no limits. But when we turn that toggle off by disabling it, you can enter any number, say 50, and the rule is set. This is now a hard limit, and you can definitely impose it upon the users on your organization. The impact is immediate. When the 51st user tries to launch the application, OpenLM steps in and restricts access. No, I can't allow you to open that application. No guesswork, no manual intervention. And it doesn't just stop there. With version control, you can deny multiple versions of the same application. This forces standardization and eliminates the chaos of mixed installs across the environment. This is why visibility becomes enforcement and policy becomes action. Now we move into the advanced usage control where limits become intelligent. First, enforce named user restriction. This prevents the user from consuming more than one license across multiple devices. And how do we define these? We have various consumption policy types. And this is where the scope really matters. Set it to process, each application instance counts as one license. Simple and strict. Choose workstation, and one PC consumes one license no matter how many instances are running on that machine. If you want to block that workstation, it will be blocked, and no user on that workstation can be accessing it. Or go a step further with user at workstation, where one user on one PC equals one license. Clean, controlled, predictable. This is how shadow licensing adapts to real world usage patterns, without overconsumption, without loopholes, and without manual policing. Let's look at a real use case. Okay. In Bentley environments, it's common to see users launching multiple applications, microstation, open rows, open buildings, Bentley stacks, sometimes across different machines. Without control, a single engineer can silently consume multiple licenses, leading to high overusage, and you have no idea what is going on. With named user restriction and usage capping in place, the behavior is stopped immediately. One engineer consumes one license, regardless of how many Bentley tools they open or where they log in from. The result, no license spikes, no surprise overages, just predictable enforceable control over high value Bentley entitlements. Now let's ground these in a real world scenario software suits. We are aware of various vendors like Autodesk, Bentley. They come with more than one products in a single suite or package. For example, take Autodesk. A single suite license might cover AutoCAD, Civil 3D, Revit, defined applications, but one entitlement. Or consider Bentley, MicroStation, SACs, open roads, open buildings, separate tools, yet all pulling from the same license suite. This is where parent packages become very essential. Each individual application is configured as a child process, and all of them are linked to a single parent package representing the suite license. Now, whenever a user launches AutoCAD or opens MicroStation, consumption is tracked and it's directly linked to the product package. Now, if you want to enforce capping, the child packages will automatically be restricted from being accessed whenever an capping is enforced on the parent package itself. The outcome is simple but powerful. Accurate suit level consumption, no over allocation, no over usage, and complete visibility into how enterprise licenses are actually used. This is suit licensing, model the way vendors design it, and manage the way enterprises need it. Now we talk about release policies. How licenses are reclaimed. We are talking about capping, but we should also talk about release policies, right? Here's the challenge. Many applications, especially offline, node locked or standalone ones, don't always check in a license, the moment they are closed. That's where release delay comes in. Think of it as a grace period. Let's say 5 minutes. If the user reopens the application within that window, they keep the same license smooth, no disruption. But sometimes grace isn't enough. That's when bucket duration takes over. Bucket duration defines a hard reset point. End of the hour, maybe end of the day, I'm allowing you till the end of the day. After which the license is automatically reclaimed. And here's the rule that ties all together. The system always applies whichever time is later. The result? The result is balance control. Licenses are reclaimed predictably, fairly, and without interrupting legitimate usage. Now, let's see enforcement in action when the limit is reached. Say, for example, you have enforced capping, and now a user is trying to access that particular application, and now he is being blocked from accessing it. But where do we see it? Where is the visibility when the user is getting notified? The moment a user attempts to launch a capped application, the OpenLM agent detects the process in real time. There's no delay. The agent immediately checks the central policy. If the consumption limit has already been reached, action is taken instantly. The application is closed, access is denied, the rule is enforced. And the user isn't just left guessing. An on screen notification clearly explains what happened. Limit reached. Forbidden to run Notepad. This is real time enforcement. No manual intervention, no retroactive cleanup, and you can do it for all the applications that is running in your system. And as I have mentioned previously, you know why is the personal dashboard, even though it's considered optional, but it's very urgently required? Because it plays this role. It notifies just clear rules. Applied instantly, applied consistently, exactly when they matter. As you can see, we have configured the policy. What does that actually look like for the end user? Here is a screenshot of the enforcement in action. A user tries to open Notepad, which we have kept for this particular demo. The OpenLM agent intervenes instantly. It kills the process. There is this toast notification, forbidden to run, limit reached. Well, this is very crucial. It tells the user this is a policy action, not a software bug. So user should not worry about it because this is something this organization imposed the policy upon. That's it. But the question is, where does that information go? It's all logged right here in the OpenLM personal dashboard, the magical place where you can see everything that has been happening. Even if a user misses the pop-up notification, nothing is lost. They can simply check the notification bell and see exactly what happened. As shown here, here's a clear timestamp record. Process notepad has been closed. And it's not just about notepad, it can be done for every application that you are looking forward to monitor, you are looking forward to do capping. It can be from various vendors, be it Bentley, be it Autodesk, anything. This level of transparency, changes the experience. Users understand why access was denied, what action was taken, and when it happened. And that understanding matters a lot because it reduces confusion, sets clear expectations, and dramatically cuts down on unnecessary help desk calls. Control for IT, clarity for users. That's how enforcement becomes adoption. So, all right, everyone, eyes on the screen. I want you to look at these three blue pillars. Now, this is just not a picture. These aren't just nice clip art architecture. Think of this as a three things that stand between you and a very stressful meeting with your CFO in the organization. Let's break down why we actually do this shadow licensing configuration. First, look at the pillar on the left, compliance. This is the big one. We all know the nightmare. You buy exactly 50 node-lock licenses of a specific tool, but without a manager, what happens when user 51 tries to open it? They get in, and 6 months later, you get a friendly audit letter asking for a massive check. What will you do then? With OpenRAM's coming functionality, we essentially hire a digital bouncer. When that 51st user tries to launch the app, the bouncer steps in and says, sorry, full house. Try again later. The app closes, the limit is respected, and you stay compliant. No accidental overusage, no surprise fines. Next, the middle pillar, a very important aspect, cost optimization. This is where you get to look like a hero. Let's talk about the heavy hitters, vendors like Autodesk or Bentley. These aren't cheap applications. You might have expensive specialized viewers or modeling tools installed on 500 machines. But are they really being used? Are the users really making the best use of those applications of the softwares? Shadow licensing turns on the lights in the room. You might find that while you are paying for 500 seats, only 30 people have actually opened the software in the last 6 months. So, 470 seats are left and no one is using it. But you are still paying for that. This is what we call sharefire. Identifying it means you stop burning budget on tools that are just gathering digital dust. Finally, operational efficiency. This comes down to who has the keys to the Ferrari. You don't want the marketing intern accidentally opening a complex engineering simulation tool, right? Just to see what the icon does. This is not just for experimentation. With shared licensing, you can regulate access. You ensure that your high engineering tools are only accessible to the users who really need it. It keeps your operations tight and your software available for the people who actually need to do it for their jobs. You stay legal, you save money, you keep control. This is the power of these three pillars. To wrap up, the ultimate goal of today's session was very simple. The session on schedule licensing is to bridge the gap you see right here on the screen. For years, IT asset managers have had excellent visibility into network and floating licenses. You can see on the left side of the bridge. You knew what was happening with vendors like FlexNet or LM, but you were often clueless and completely blind to the standalone and the node-locked applications on the right. The OpenLM platform acts as that central bridge. By implementing shadow licenses, you finally achieve unified visibility, bringing those invisible standalone applications into the light. You gain the power to manage your network processes as well as your individual standalone processes from a single dashboard. Ultimately, what it does, this allows you to shift from a reactive state, guessing at usage and putting out fires, to a proactive one, where you enforce policy limits automatically and make data-driven decisions for your entire software estate. So we have reached the end of our deep dive into OpenLM shadow licensing. We hope now you have a clear understanding of the crucial configurations, the streamlined workflow, and the significant financial advantages this feature provides. So, if you have any questions, any doubts, please feel free to ask. Here's the Q&A. Okay, so one of the questions that I've received is, do I need to install the OpenLM agent on all my client machines to start using this? Well, of course, you need to install the OpenLM agent because that's the magical tool, you know, for monitoring and tracking all those processes. And with the help of that, with the help of tying it to the process manager, we're exactly enforcing the capping and preventing the users from accessing it. While the personal dashboard and the EUS is optional, however, the OpenLab workstation agent is essentially required for this. Do you have any other questions? Let me see if we have any other questions. Okay, another question is, if a user is blocked because the cap is reached, what exactly do they see? You can see the notification that is already displayed in the personal dashboard, and you have an entirety of that access. If even if you miss the notification, you can get that. So that's not an issue. But for that, the personal dashboard needs to be there in place. So yeah. So anyone can, if anyone have any further questions, please reach out to us, and we are always available to answer them. And thank you. We are here to help. For those questions we couldn't get to today, or for a personalized discussion on OpenLM serial licensing and how capping can be tailored to a specific organization structure, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can find our contact information, including our website and email displayed on the screen. Thank you once again for your time and attention, folks, today. We look forward to helping you achieve unparalleled precision in your software cost allocation and resource planning. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.